Chai kraka. Chai kraka. Aso bora ni.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Is China our savior? Is the African continent? Is China our father Christmas in this beautiful continent of ours? But I'm going to focus more on the South African part of the continent. Anyway, welcome to South Africa Lately, a channel that discusses South African trending news. We do, however, grab here and there from international news when it is trending enough to be brought here. I'm looking for answers here. I'm looking at enlightening myself more with your assistance in the comment section. I'm looking for more information because our leaders will confuse us and end up having a confusion itself. Even my confusion is confused at this moment, but I would like to hear from you. You know why I'm saying so? Because there are certain decisions that our leaders would take and they look cosmetically good and they affect us differently at a grassroots level. Where I'm from the grassroots level. I'm speaking from the grassroots level. Can you hear me? I have seen certain things, how Chinese people move within South Africa, and a lot more of the information that is coming from other parts of the African continent that are not so good. But I want to talk about South Africa. The things that Chinese are doing in South Africa will shock you. But I'm going to put some of them here because it's the public knowledge. It's not something that only me knows or it's a conspiracy. No, it's something that is on the public domain for everyone to see. So I'm looking at this. I'm like, no, man. Something is just not right here. What is it? When you look at South Africa specifically, I want to be blunt, how many South Africans are committing such crimes in other parts of the country, anywhere in this world? How many South Africans go there illegally and be committing the crimes that we see being committed by your Mexicans, your Chinese, your whoever that is here? How many South Africans are doing so? And if we have South Africans that are doing so, it is always my prayer, and I'm always happy when I see some of South Africans who are doing such things getting arrested and being punished. Honestly, I become so happy. I'm like, yeah, it serves you right. It's a different story when you commit crime within your own country, like you get arrested within your own country, get punished, but when you go into somebody's land, and you commit crime, talk less if you went in there illegally. Whether you are in there legally or illegally, you need to respect our law. So I'm always on the very happy side when I see South Africans that are committing crime in other parts of this beautiful world, if it's still beautiful, and they get punished for it. I'm like, it serves you right. So now, looking back at what is happening in South Africa via the Chinese, I'm going to put a clip here first, and you watch that clip, and I'll be back with more commentary on this issue because there's still a lot more to unpack.
Officials from the police and the Department of Labor and Home Affairs got the shock of their lives when they passed on a construction company that is busy with the building of a mall at Crown Mines in the south of Johannesburg. They've been on a week-long multi-stakeholder raid focusing on the construction sector in Gauteng. Non-compliance with labor and employment regulations were uncovered, with a number of workers taken into custody.
When we arrived here, we found non-compliance in terms of Occupational Health and Safety Act because there's no risk assessment that we found. Above all, also that there are a number of people, more than 50 employees that were taken over by the Department of into custody by the Department of Home Affairs to verify their documentation so that they can check if they are in the country legally and if they indeed have a work permit, because that is also a contravention of the Employment Services Act.
The officials were taken from pillar to post where they picked up a language barrier as they demanded documents and accountability from those found on site, worried about the safety and well-being of the workers.
We found people sleeping in very appalling conditions, and the worst thing is that even the machinery that they are using is written only in Mandarin languages. So we do not have a translation of English to check in terms of the data sheet of safety. So as a result of that, we are then prohibiting the place from continued operations and make sure that the security officers that are here would also have the copy of the prohibition and will monitor that such a prohibition is adhered to.
Those arrested will be detained at the Langlaagte police station with the verification process of their status in the country underway as the authorities pursue the directors of the company.
There is one gentleman that is an employee here that is unconscious. They don't even have a trained first aider to assist. We do not even know if they do have a first aid box. But what also comes to our mind is that how do they bring people to a construction site without having checked if they are fit for that purpose?
A stern warning to those operating in the construction sector of projects that will be halted if found on the wrong side of the law. The Labour Department also raising concerns about companies not paying the minimum wage, employees working excessive hours, and businesses not registered with the Unemployment Insurance Fund.
And when you look at that, the whole system is just so super corrupt, because these people have left China, 50 of them, because according to the news from this, more news coming from what you just saw on that video, is that 50 Chinese were illegally in South Africa and they were arrested working on that site. Do you understand? So it means they came from wherever they came from China, and they were processed in China, that they are coming to South Africa to do what? Maybe to work. That's right there. They came through corruption. You cannot export so many people to come to South Africa illegally. And then when they fly, these people, they didn't fly through a broom. These people, they went through our own airports and wherever. Just, they used South African offices for them to be here. That's what I'm trying to say. So the whole thing for me looks super corrupt, because first of all, China does not respect any labor laws. We have seen here in South Africa employees being locked in factories, getting burnt in there, some even lose their lives because they were locked, no place to exit, because the employer has locked them in there, working crazy hours with peanuts as wages. So now when you look at this, why are we having China here? Also from that clip, you heard that they use machines that are written in Mandarin. Those machines, please, I beg. So everything is just Chinese in that place. So when you look at such things, you see a very corrupt system that is operating in South Africa in the hands of the Chinese people, and with some South Africans involved, because they cannot do that all by themselves. Do you know what I'm saying? So you look at this whole thing like, where are we headed? Where are we headed? As always, there is the comment section to agree with me or disagree with me. But what I'm looking for the most, educate me, because it is possible that I'm angry for nothing. There's nothing to be worried about. If we talk about being colonized, and we see all over in the news that China is not colonizing anyone, we are equal. Are we not being colonized? Because if we are not being colonized, there's a fine line. There's a for me, it looks like, I'll show you how it looks like. Please stay with me. I want to show you something.
Have you ever wondered why China is spending hundreds of billions of dollars to develop Africa? It's not because China cares about Africa or that the Chinese government is so generous. The truth is, China is no longer a poor country, and you can no longer hire Chinese workers for pennies. At least 50% of the Chinese population is middle class, which means China needs another China for itself, just like the US needed China's cheap labor. So China is developing Africa to build the infrastructure to take advantage of Africa's cheap labor. China also needs new markets for its products, as the United States is slowly moving away from Chinese products.
And for me, this is a very short video that I agree with and that makes sense to me, but you are allowed to disagree with me in the comments, in the comment section, or also even teach me things that I don't understand, because I'm still going to show you what Chinese people are doing in South Africa. And you look at this, like, will they tolerate if South Africans were to do the same things in their own countries? Would they tolerate if any African is doing what they are doing in China? So I have seen also some videos that I'm not going to share here, but I've seen some videos of Africans being ill-treated in China. Why is it so easy for them to behave like that here in South Africa? I'm going to show you something. Please, I'm going to put some screenshots here. It's something that is known in South Africa, but I just want us to zoom into it and we look at it more. Okay, this says it happened here in South Africa. Chinese citizens, you understand? Chinese citizens arrested for kidnapping Zimbabwean businessmen in Johannesburg. You know, we have our issues with the Zimbabweans, our fellow African people, but this for Chinese citizens to come and kidnap an African businessmen in South Africa, we have our issues, but this no ways. And this one says the Western Cape Provincial Counterfeit, Illicit and Contraband Goods Task Team led a search of liquor outlet on the corner of Plain and Reinefeld Street in Eersters River. Members confiscated liquor which did not meet the requirements for sale purposes. This estimated street value of the liquor is 24 million rand. A Chinese national 20 was arrested. Yay, angeke. It ain't no way. You know, I kind of feel like, but anyway, I'm going to say what I want to say right at the end of this. This one says, he's quoting the SABC Post because the SABC didn't specify, said 4 foreign nationals have been nabbed by the police for various crimes in Johannesburg. 2 were arrested in possession of counterfeit goods worth millions of rands. Somebody said 2 Chinese nationals and 2 Ethiopians arrested in South Africa because they didn't specify. So because when most of the time when you see foreign nationals, automatically you think you're Nigerians, Uganda, or whatever. No, we have to specify Chinese, 2 Chinese, so that we express our problem very well without taking sides. And then this one says Chinese really acting like God in the continent of Africa. These days, group of Chinese was arrested in South Africa carrying South African driving license that they made in China. They said government officials said they can print their own driver's licenses. I gag. You cannot make this stuff up. You cannot make. I feel like when after many years we would hardly recognize our own African continent. I'm telling you. And moving right along, said an illegal Chinese foreigner, illegal mining kingpin has appeared in the Northern Magistrate Court in Limpopo after he was detained earlier this week. Chin Liang Tom, 48, made an appearance in court on Thursday in relation to unauthorized mining operations. See, these are the people that needs to be arrested for the Zamazama to end. You see, I've seen this, that there is big people involved in this. The money that the Zamazamas carry. See, this one is from Congo. It says, a Chinese man arrested by the Congolese National Police in Mwenga for ignoring the governor's ban on mining. Last week, the governor of South Kivu ordered a stop to all mining activities in the area for better control over the mining of mineral resources. You see, Congo was maybe still infested by Chinese. It's a mess. This is a story that was ahead of years ago, and it is still happening. Maybe it looks like now the DRC is trying to control that. But what I'm trying to say here is that when you look at these things, this is just a drop in the ocean of what the Chinese nationals are doing in South Africa and other parts of this beautiful African continent. Are we still saying that China is our savior? China is our Father Christmas? Because this Father Christmas is looking suspicious. The rate in which China is entering Africa, the rate in which they are exporting their own people into various parts of this continent, guys, yay, there's gotta be a bigger agenda for China to be involved in our affairs like this. And if I'm being just paranoid for nothing and there is nothing more to the story except China being once to our partner, why all of this? Why all of this? Why all of this? There are companies disrespecting the labor laws. A whole company that is in the construction of a mall is not respecting labor laws. It has 50 illegal Chinese. 50. Imagine how many Chinese are in other parts of this beautiful African continent. In years to come, we won't recognize our own continent. Chinese don't play. China doesn't play like that. China doesn't play like that. If I am being paranoid for nothing and there is nothing more to the story than China just wanting to be our partner as to work with us, improve Africa as we promote China to be this country that just wants to see the success of Africa. Suspicious to me. It is suspicious because the people that they are exporting to us currently are doing a whole mess of this beautiful continent. They are doing a mess. I'm talking as someone from the grassroots level. Do you understand? I know how these things impact us. I'm talking from the grassroots. Please, I'm talking from the grassroots. And in the grassroots that I am, I might be the only one that is paranoid and other people are just happy about the whole thing. Anyway, as always, you have the comment section to comment, and either you agree with me, disagree with me, or just want to educate me on something, because I am looking forward to hearing from people, especially the ones that are interested in educating me, giving me new information so that I understand these things better. Because as things stand at this moment, I don't see that China is our Father Christmas who's here to save Africa. I don't see China as our savior. No ways. Anyway, thank you for watching my videos. This is South Africa Lately, a channel that discusses South African trending news. We do, however, grab here and there from international news when it is trending enough to be brought here. Do have a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous day.